Hey, Green Machine friends and fans of fun. Hey, we had a discussion and we're going to leave something in. So we have this weird phenomenon. I mean, we only have like 200, 150 followers maybe if we're lucky. If we're lucky, 150 followers on YouTube. We're not a big deal. We wish we were. But that doesn't stop people from being weird when we have the mic and the camera set up. And it goes like this. Like we see them walk by, they walk by once, and then they walk back by, and they've got this grin on their face where they're like, and then they sort of drift into the store with that wild grin, like watching me do our stuff. And then they start talking really loud and like try to get in the shot. So if it happens from now on, we're just going to leave it in and let the comedy ensue of what are these people doing? So that's just what we're just going to roll with it. We have a lot of stuff that is coming out this week, like a lot. First of all, we have Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and this is the PX exclusive where he's got his hood up. And honestly, this is one of the best looking pops I've ever seen. He's not only got his hood up, he's got his jacket on. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, and it comes with the stand, so he like jumps out of the box.
Yeah, he's got a stand. So this is really one of those that you really need to buy two and maybe do one out of box because it's such a cool like action shot. And then the other thing that I'm so happy we have a few of. Because tomorrow's my birthday, so this is my birthday present to me, and I've got the Naomi hardcover. So we're gonna have a couple of those. Oh God, look at the back, man. God, Naomi is just my favorite new character. I absolutely love everything about this character. I'm so happy with this. This is mine. Nobody else gets this. It's mine. Yeah. So that's going on. What else do we have going on? Anything?
We got HCF this weekend.
Halloween Comic Fest on Saturday. I won't be here that day. It's my wife's birthday is the day after me, so we got to go celebrate, and I'm taking her indoor skydiving, so that should be fun. I'm gonna go sit in a giant air dryer. That's essentially what it is. Yeah, she's like, so do you know how to do this? I was like, no. We just.
Airport's different.
Yeah. As paratroopers, we just jump out with a static line.
Yeah.
We get free fall, but we're not controlling it.
You'd be unconscious and jump out.
So yeah, okay. So there's that. I don't know. There's a lot of comic news going on. I saw on Twitter, I think last week, Tom King. It was really sort of sweet. Tom King put on Twitter. He was like, "I finished writing my last Batman comic," and the number one person that commented, Jason Aaron, saying, "I finished writing my last Thor comic," and I was like, "Oh, man." So, oh man, okay, so we got a lot of stuff to get into, so let's just jump into it. The first thing we're going to talk about today, I'm sounding like Philip DeFranco. I think I've directly quoted Philip DeFranco there. That's weird.
You watch a lot of
That's I do watch a lot of Philly D. Okay, so let's see. Immortal Hulk issue number 25. Now, we have a lot of copies of this, but it's for good reason. So this story, we're going to throw a little spoiler out there because we have to discuss it. And it's so out of the norm. The way the last Immortal Hulk ended was he took control of Shadow Base. So now he's got like a secret government organization that the Immortal Hulk can use to take down the world. And we also know that he's been possessed by the One Below All. So that character's been confirmed. So we have our devil, and that's why he's the Devil Hulk. So this Hulk in particular, he's way more powerful than we previously thought. So we already knew that they were going to do something with, another timeline, another version of the universe. And basically this takes place after our universe has died, about 2 million years after. And it involves these other creatures that are, it's really cool. Like, they're crystalline creatures, they have their own culture, and the way they talk is a bit different. But pretty much all of them are in hiding because there is somebody called the Breaker of Worlds. See what they did there? The Breaker of Worlds that smashes worlds to bits. And it's the Immortal Hulk. It's the Immortal Hulk possessed by the One Below All. And so I'm sorry for that little bit of a spoiler, but like it's almost impossible to talk about without talking about it. And why is this important to us as Hulk fans? Well, for one thing, Hulk is generally there are really powerful iterations of the Hulk. I think when you separate him from Banner or kill Banner, he tends to be more powerful. And then probably the most, in fact, I think it's confirmed as the most powerful is Worldbreaker Hulk, and that was after Planet Hulk, after he came. Yeah, World War Hulk. So yeah. So that was all after that. But so Worldbreaker Hulk is considered to be the most powerful Hulk iteration, and this one is more powerful. I can honestly say that this is the most powerful we've ever seen Hulk in print, and that includes everything. So go pick this up. Absolutely, do not sleep on this. This is a milestone. This is something worth collecting. This is something worth owning. Plus the art, again, nothing to complain about the art. And the ending was a bit of a surprise. There is some bastardized Mr. Rogers song lyrics in there that I thought was kind of nice.
You showed it to me, and I was like,
Yeah, it was kind of cool. So, anyways, I'm sorry for the spoiler, but since it's a new story arc, it's really impossible to talk about without spoiling a little bit of it. So, issue number 25, The Immortal Hulk, this is a must-buy if you're a Marvel fan, I think, this week. Next is The Amazing Mary Jane, issue number 1, and I like that the one is red. They give her a red one. It fits, you know. So this is the story of Mary Jane as a superhero. No, playing a superhero on a Hollywood backlot. Why is she there? Well, she's sort of been tricked by one of Spidey's well-known villains who has a Hollywood background. I wonder who it could be. I maybe. Yeah. So I mean. All things aside, I thought this was just going to be like typical slice of life type stuff, but no, it was actually kind of interesting. It was fun. It was a fun read. I don't think I'm the target audience though, because I tend to favor the superhero type, and this is just Mary Jane being surrounded by the superhero types. But I want to know where this story's going, so I didn't hate it. Didn't really captivate me the way I think it was meant to. I don't think I'm the target audience, but I still think that this is totally worth checking out. I'd say give it a couple issues before you write it off if you're on the fence about it. I'm going to wait and see. So this is Leo Williams, Carlos Gomez, and Carlos Lopez. It's a pretty good showing. The art was great. The story was... I liked that she was upset over her lines and the way her character was written, and she sort of shows up the director. I like that sort of thing, but there's just not enough action in it for me. Yeah, that's my complaint. So anyways, issue number 1, The Amazing Mary Jane. If you are a Spider-Man fan, you will probably like this. Next is, oh my god, deep breath. Issue number 1016 of Action Comics. And... well, it's Naomi! Yeah! So the last issue of Action Comics had Superman losing a fight to Red Mist. I mean, he was in the process of losing the fight. And it was hinted that Naomi was going to take him on, even though she doesn't really know her powers. And it was amazing. 100% amazing across the board. I loved every second of it. More importantly, Naomi gets to introduce Superman and Batman to her mom, and apparently Naomi's mom has a thing for Batman. I love that exchange. The writer did such a good job. Go figure, Bendis. Why am I saying the writer? I know it's Action Comics, it's Bendis. So this is Bendis, Kudransky, Anderson. It was so good. I loved everything about this. Go pick it up if you're a DC fan, please. Oh, next is a book I love that we just can't seem to get people to buy, and that's good old Freedom Fighters. Now, granted, it feels... I love the Uncle Sam character. I love the way he's written. Last time we saw that the Condor had almost lost the fight in the Rebellion of Detroit, so he had to take the Plastic Man serum. Now, the connotations of taking the Plastic Man serum is it does make him superpowered. It does make him like their personal... Hi?
That used to be the shoe place next door?
Yeah, he moved out about 11 months ago.
Oh, of course is when I need him.
he's on Maori. He's back on Maori Street.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
by 7-Eleven,
By 7-Eleven on Maori?
right across from Denny's.
Next to Denny's?
Yep.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. No problem.
Anyway, Now that my train of thought is totally thrown off. Okay. So last time we saw that the Condor had taken the Plastic Man serum, and that's what their SS uses. Is they use the Plastic Man serum to become the plastic with 2 S's. Man, you see what they're doing with the whole Ratsy Nazi thing. So that's what they're doing. But the connotation of him taking that means that, well, if Uncle Sam took it, he might be able to be fine because he's an avatar of, the American spirit, essentially. But if a human takes it, their lifespan is maybe a few years at best. So Condor's pretty much making the ultimate sacrifice for us. So it's really cool to see. I love everything about this story. It definitely feels like, honestly, as a veteran, like this kind of story is just really, really fun for us. And you get to see Uncle Sam belt out, which is all I wanted out of this comic, is him throwing punches, because it's so comical the way they write him. That he honestly feels like it's like a wrestling character brought to life is what it is, and I love it. How can I say brought to life? Wrestling people are alive. Like,
I get what you're saying. He's like an amalgamation of like the Hulk and like
yeah,
the Hulk.
the Hulk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just saying the Hulk.
You don't mean the Hulk, like Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan,
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody knows that Hulkamania is the strongest force in this universe.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan and Randy Macho Man Savage, and yeah.
Definitely.
Ultimate Warrior. Okay, so this is Venditti, Barrows, Ferreira, and Lucas. And this is Freedom Fighters issue number 10. It's 10 of 12. Go pick it up. It's totally worth reading. Trust me, it's a great story. God, that lady really threw me off my game. It was the same thing. She was just grinning from ear to ear. She knew exactly what she was doing. I don't get this phenomenon.
That's a nice plug for the shoe guy.
Yeah, the shoe guy who moved out 11 months ago. Okay. Okay, let me get back into the swing of things. So this is Detective Comics, issue number 1014. This is a pinnacle issue. This is something worth owning. The reason being is because Nora Fries, who is Mr. Freeze's wife, Mr. Freeze's wife, who has been frozen for 20 years because she had cancer, well, she's back in the game. She's back to life, and she might be just as sinister as Mr. Freeze, it seems. Oh, man, so cool. So, anyways, issue number 1014, Detective Comics, totally worth owning. I had a good time with it. The art is great. And I think this is Tomasi. Yep, it's Tomasi. The writing's great. So it's Tomasi, Menke, Alamy, Irwin, and Baron. Go pick this up if you're a DC fan. It's great. Next is Agents of Atlas. And, well, I mean, it fleshes out a lot of stuff and sets the stage. So we have a tech billionaire that is sort of tied to an island called Pan. Island Nation, I think it is called Pan. I think it is. I might be wrecking some of this mythos, sorry. Anyways, so the Agents of Atlas are there, and they're sort of working, but the tech millionaire decides that he's going to put the kiss of Amadeus Cho and Luna Snow on the internet and reap millions from clicks. And they're not happy about that. More importantly, like, Luna Snow is a South Korean K-pop icon. So they're at war with the actual tech billionaire over this. And meanwhile, he's going to dime out some other people that are in love, that are in this story, or starting to fall in love. So, yeah. So they're dealing with digital problems. Meanwhile, they fought, I guess, giant dragons in this story. The giant dragons of Pan. They fought soldiers with, I guess, time stasis guns. There is so much wildness going on with this Agents of Atlas story. I had a really good time. There's plenty of action. There's plenty of soap opera. The art is great. There's really nothing to complain about this. If you need a new superhero team that is totally great, and I think this is only like a 6-issue run, isn't it? Oh, sad face. Anyways, Agents of Atlas is great. This is Greg Pak, Leon, and Rosenberg. Go pick this up. And that's Rosenberg, the cover artist, right? Not Matthew. I can't remember the other name. I think it might actually be Michael, which is why I always mix the two up. But anyway, okay. Next is Avengers, Earth Mightiest Heroes, and this is the Challenge of the Ghost Riders finale. And if you can't tell, we have Johnny Blaze, we have Robbie Reyes, And we have, good old Frank Castle as Cosmic Ghost Rider in the mix. And there's a lot to unpack. So the last issue sort of left off with Robbie Reyes getting his car smashed by his uncle, who was empowered by Hellfire. I don't know why Johnny Blaze would do this. His uncle was like a straight-up serial killer. Like, I get that you're in hell now and you're being king of hell and you're trying to, like, control your people and stuff, but maybe don't empower serial killers to fight good guys that should be your ally. I don't know. It is a very metal race. There's hell. The Avengers are there. Everything wild is going on. There's like a billion different Ghost Riders. It's very metal, and it makes sense. It's a very Ghost Rider event. But I think this is also setting the stage for something else. Do you remember we had the whole 10,000 BC thing, and it wasn't quite resolved? Well, they might be explaining parts of it at the end of this issue, or they're leading. Hey, welcome back. You should really go check this out. This is Jason Aaron, Caselli, and Keith. Maybe my glasses. This is a great read. The art is amazing. Our next book is The Amazing Spider-Man Full Circle, and this was the most wild ride of the week. I won't say it's the pick of the week because it wasn't. It's close to the pick of the week, but there was so much wildness to unpack here. So this is Jonathan God. This team. You get basically a trade paperback's worth of comics. It's $9.99. It's Jonathan Hickman, Chris Bacalao, Jerry Duggan, Greg Smallwood, Nick Spencer, Mike Allred, Kelly Thompson, Valerio Shea. That name gets me every time. Amazing Spider-Man. It's Schiti. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm sorry. Al Ewing. Oh, the legend. Al Ewing. Chris Sprouse, Chip Zdarsky, Rachel Stott, Jason Aaron, Cameron Stewart, and Mark Bagley. My God, that is just like a legendary lineup for making something, or making a comic. My God. So this story is really, really insane in all the right ways. So it centers around sort of the butterfly effect, and at times I think quantum theory. And it starts out in space, and it involves Spider-Man, black suit Spider-Man, who is given a nice upgrade tech suit from Nick Fury. But this is Colonel Nick Fury, the old school one, the dad that runs around, eating candy and stuff all the time. So he's there, and meanwhile they've got to stop a spaceship, or they've got to stop basically an evil group from ascending. The spaceship blows up and winds up infecting the world with a plague, and it's a plague of, well, look, it's on the cover, a plague of werewolves. And that involves a Disneyland shell corporation, Disneyland-esque shell corporation, which I think is a statement that maybe they shouldn't be making at Marvel. And then on top of that, like, there's always this person sort of whispering to Spider-Man, like, hey, let me out, please, let me out of this room, let me out of this manhole. And so that keeps happening. So it's just sort of a scenario where it keeps sort of looping back on itself, and it keeps getting weirder and weirder. And, do you listen to the weird voice and open the doors, or do you ignore it? Can you do both at times? Like, it's a really, really strange story. But I think it's philosophically there are some intent that strangeness is really intentional. It was a fun read. I had a great time the whole way through it. It just keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder. I know you think I've spoiled some of it, but no, I really haven't. It gets stranger and stranger as it goes. It's a gigantic story. So you need to read this if you're a Spider-Man fan, plain and simple. If you're a Marvel fan, chances are you will have one of the best times this week with this book. If you are a DC fan and you want to dip your toes in some good Marvel, this is definitely the book to do it. I had a great time with this. I read it almost backwards and forwards because I read it one way and then I skimmed back through it because I just wanted more answers about all the weirdness, and it was fun. It was really, really fun. So great read. This is The Amazing Spider-Man Full Circle. It's amazing, and go figure, it's got all these amazing creators working on it. I just gushed about that book, probably for too long. I'm sorry. It was a great book. Next is the Aquaman Annual, You're the Villain, Doom Rising. Well, I gotta tell you, this opens in the most hysterical of ways. So, Aquaman and Aqualad are just chilling on the end of a dock in Amnesty Bay, and a guy comes up and tries to take him down. The guy calls himself Sea Daddy. Yeah. And literally the first thing out of Aquaman's mouth is, I'm not calling you that. It's so good. Really, this centers around Amnesty Bay, which is sort of a mythical place where there are gods walking among people and sort of hiding in plain sight. Meanwhile, Aquaman has lost his dog. He's got to find his pooch. I loved it. I had such a good time. I love this Aquaman annual. It was exactly what I wanted as an Aquaman fan. So anyways, this is the Aquaman annual number 2. What is the secret to Amnesty Bay? Well, the secret is a really awesome story. So come pick this up if you're a DC fan. Next is, I need some Starbucks. Papa needs the spinach.
Now we have to pay the SB company for mentioning their name.
Do we?
No.
Oh, don't do that to
I
me.
don't know, man.
Yeah, you don't know. Big Daddy Starbucks is about that Big Daddy money. All right, next is Absolute Carnage. Big Daddy. Sea Daddy Starbucks. Makes sense with the mermaid logo, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Got it.
Right? Okay. All right, so Lethal Protectors. Absolute Carnage Lethal Protectors, issue number 3. Honestly, this was one of the best Absolute Carnage books so far. I had a really good time. This is the Lethal Protectors, so, you know, Morbius, the Living Vampire, who else? Oh, Iron Fist. I'm trying to remember everyone that's on this team. Oh, and we've got James Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson's son. Yeah, Man-Wolf. Good old Man-Wolf is involved, and he has been carnagized, which was awesome. Oh, that's right. Who else is in this? Oh, Misty Knight. Misty Knight is in this. I forgot that. And Misty Knight and James Jameson have a thing. I didn't remember that. Yeah.
I thought it was you push that up in
They probably did, and I just forgot. You know, that's how my memory works. This is by Thierry Flaviano and Blee. Honestly, I had a great time with this book. Of all the Absolute Carnage books, this one was a lot of action, a lot of fun, and I don't know. I had little to complain about from a book I expected almost nothing from, because the Lethal Protectors are, well, I mean, I like Iron Fist's look, but I've never really, like, been that into Iron Fist. Had a good time, so I would honestly keep reading this if it was an ongoing. I think this is the last issue, though, so come pick this up. It's great. Next is, oh, man, there's so much to unpack. I don't know how to talk about it without spoiling it, and I'm not sure. This is one of those books where I don't want to spoil what happens. It's kind of genius, and it's a very Batman and Superman-esque way in which they tackled it, but I can't, I really can't spoil this, because I'll just, it'll ruin the whole thing, and that would suck. So, the last Batman Superman, we know that Shazam had been affected, and it's not just, we don't just have an evil Shazam, we have an evil Billy Batson. And, well, he's a pretty big jerk. More importantly, we got to the end of the issue and we finally saw a Superman who laughs, which I can't think of anything more frightening. They explain it in this issue. They explain it. The story's fleshed out. It's good purpose. It's really cool the way it works out. I can't spoil it. But what I will say is we do know that there were 2 people in play as Who Laughs, people who had been affected. Commissioner Gordon and Shazam. Somebody else gets infected in this, of course. We knew it was going to happen. There's 6 people, supposedly, 6 batarangs that were supposed to infect people. And 2 of them had been used. So, oh, man. It's so good. It's so good. So, this is Williamson, Marquez, and Sanchez. One thing I will say about this book is the Batman Who Laughs says the worst stuff. I mean, if you think Joker is bad over the years, my God, the things he says in this. Williamson needs to keep writing the Batman Who Laughs, because he has not only nailed it, he has made him both really entertaining, and at the same time, like, whoa, even I think you went too far. Yeah, I cringed a bit at some of the stuff he says, and really that's what I want from that character. So, good showing. Issue number 3, Batman Superman. Come pick this up if you're a DC fan. Next is Aliens Rescue, and this is the wrap-up of what was going on. And what do you usually see at the end of an Alien saga?
An escape.
An escape. But sometimes you get to see, I don't know, people killing the queen.
Ooh.
Yeah, very rarely. You might.
Excellent.
I'm sorry I spoiled it, but it was a really cool read. I will say, as somebody who is not as diehard of an Aliens fan, that is totally Yogi's fandom, and it has never really been my jam. But
Might get to see
I
that
had a
in this
really
book.
good time with this book, so I think you should come pick this up if you're an Aliens fan. And keep in mind, I do think some of the Alien stuff to me, like sometimes I read it and I'm like, it seems a little generic at first. But this one, it started off a little slow and it got much, much better. So issue number 4, Aliens Rescue, we've got it on our shelf. Come pick it up. Next is Punisher Kill Crew. My God, Punisher Kill Crew. This Jerry Duggan writing Punisher is so good. It's so good. This is Jerry Duggan and Juan Ferreira. God, this team is amazing. First of all, Juan's art is wow, so good. And the writing, everybody knows that Jerry Duggan, the way he writes action is he doesn't pull any punches at all. He will get as grotesque, as violent, as funny, as comical. He really sort of gets that spirit of just that combat itself is a little humanizing at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
You're a fan of violence of action, sir. Is that, I think
violence of action. Well, that, and I mean, I'm saying this as somebody, who's been in the military and we've done some stuff, and we kind of know that when you're on the battlefield, it's not all serious. Like, people who write grim and serious stuff have never seen that life, because really there's a lot of comedy there. You laugh the hardest, and I think the reason is because you know that life is fleeting at that point. Like, you're on a razor's edge. Yeah. So that's why Jerry Duggan's writing is perfect, especially for the Punisher. It's dark, it's brutal, it's funny. I had such a good time. I laughed out loud, I think, 3 or 4 times at least. It's great. And this team, I mean, we've got Punisher, Froggy, and Daredevil's sidekick, the lawyer, is in play. We've got Juggernaut. And Dane is in play. It's such a weird team. And the GOAT. The GOAT has so much character. I love the GOAT. So everything about this. Honestly, I'm sad. Punisher Kill Crew is pretty much wrapping up. And I want this to continue. I wish this was an ongoing. It's so good. So go pick that up, please. Let me get more Starbucks. That's twice. We owe them $20,000 now. I've probably given him $20,000 this year. Next is King Thor. And, well, I mean, what is it to say? This is Aaron Ribici and Cervicina. I can never pronounce these names. Honestly, the art feels almost like, and I know it's not the same artist, but it feels just like the art from his Thor run. It's so on point. The art is amazing in this King Thor run. It centers around sort of Loki was tired of the gods, so he went to Gore and decided to, release Gore the God Killer, and that's not the smartest of things to do ever. So it backfires, and meanwhile we're setting up for a fight between Gore and Thor. And that's really all we want as Thor fans, I think. I'm pretty sure, like, that matchup is such a good fight. So, anyways, an epic story, dark in mood and spectacle is what is tagged on the front cover, and that is the truth. This is a dark story, but it is really, really fun. And honestly, it's Jason Aaron at the top of his game, so come pick this up if you're a Thor fan. If you're a Marvel fan, don't skip on this. This is issue number 2. You can still get in on it.
because the actions of God Butcher were responsible for Thor losing the hammer.
Yep. No, it wasn't the...
Well,
It wasn't the actions of Gore that did it. Gore was killing gods because he felt like gods didn't really help anyone. Like, they were just self-absorbed. They weren't worthy. And so Nick Fury, of all people, whispered that to Thor. And he was like, what? What did you say? And then he couldn't lift his hammer after that. So good. I love the way comics are written. You don't expect things to go down that way.
But it came out quite well.
Mm-hmm. Next is The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 13. This is Spencer, Gleason, and Wilson. There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, we have Teresa Parker, who is it's Peter Parker's sister, who is a long-lost sister who is a spy, who is the son of Mary Parker and Richard Parker, Peter's parents, who were also spies. And yeah, I mean, it's weird to see her in play again, but I guess. And somehow this is all centering around Spider-Man 2099, who has gotten himself captured. And so he needs to get free, and he needs to find Peter Parker. And that's most of what's going on here. There's more, but I think it's intentionally confusing. It feels like you got to sleuth it out, which is a good way to go. I will say, after the Absolute Carnage event, we're nearing the end of it, but I think it's the end of it for The Amazing Spider-Man. And it's hard to jump into it and get really enthusiastic about it. Granted, I like seeing Miguel back in the mix. I like seeing Spider-Man 2099 there. It feels like so soon after that event, which is, honestly, it's not even after. It's still going on. But it's a hard act to follow. Donny Cates really knocked it out of the park with that event. So I'm excited for all the 2099 books that are coming. I'm excited to see where this story is going. I'm just not as excited since it just feels like it's following such a great, bright lights, big city sort of story before that. Is that a good way to put it? I was trying to do like a Vegas description, and it just became like a New York, New York. I don't know. Next is Red Hood Outlaw, issue number 39. This is Lobdell, Rockefort, and Furchow.
I only see Rockefort
It says Furchow. Firchow. Furchow? Furchow? I like that name. I don't know why. Sometimes that is better. So this centers around Red Hood getting a team from Lex Luthor, a team of young kids, and he's taken Lex Luthor up on his offer. He's going to mentor these kids, but I think secretly his plan is to turn them into good guys. And yeah, we've got some cool new characters. I definitely wanted to know more about these characters, but the whole time there's the storyline of Artemis and Bizarro being somewhere else in the multiverse trying to find their way home, and that's really what I want. I'm happy to see new Outlaws. Don't get me wrong. Their story is interesting. The last time they sort of got ambushed by a guy who is known as Monster Arm, because he has one arm that is a giant, bulbous, monstrous arm. That is a terrible name. That is a terrible character, if I'm honest. But, so they get ambushed by him, so they've got to deal with that, and his other monsters that are helping him. Okay, whatever. It sort of feels like filler, if I'm honest. But, good news for those of us who are a fan of the Outlaws, they may be finding their way back home soon. You're going to have to go read this issue. It's awesome. As a Red Hood fan, I was not disappointed. I do honestly, though, feel a little bit like the current arc with the kids was kind of weak. Like, we got to fight. It just wasn't great. Anyways, so issue number 39. If you're a Red Hood fan, I don't believe you'll be disappointed with this, because I am. But if you're anyone else, maybe wait an issue before you jump in. The next book we're going to talk about is Batman Curse of the White Knight. This is issue number 4 by Sean Murphy, Matt Hollingsworth. There has been so much good stuff out of this story. I've had a great time. It involves a long-standing feud, I guess, between the founders of Gotham. One of them is the Wayne family. On top of that, Azrael is in play, and his suit is very sharp. It's very 90s. I love it. But the last issue we saw Azrael sort of stabbing Commissioner Gordon and shoving him off a building. And the thing about Azrael, so Azrael, I guess his character was an angel of death. That's the reference, and he's always got sort of religious connotation, which is no different here. He's running around with a bunch of groups that's claiming to be knights. But most of his stories, and a giant portion of them, start with a fall. Whether it's him falling off a building, I think the whole of Rebirth began in Detective Comics with him falling off a building while on fire. Like, so whenever there's an Osriel fall, there's a good reason for that, and, well, you need to go see. It's pretty impactful, pretty good. I had a good time with it. I don't want to spoil much more than that. This is DC Black Label. Book 4, Curse of the White Knight. If you're a DC fan, come jump in on this. It's great. Next is, my God, finally. I mean, we didn't get Arrow yet, right? Or no, we didn't get Wave yet. We didn't get Wave yet. We got Arrow. But the other character I really wanted to know more about was Luna Snow. And this is Wong, Lim, Garza, Hampshire, and Sanchez Almara. And so this is Future Fight First books. It's basically fleshing out each of the characters that are on the new Agents of Atlas, or the Agents of Atlas, I should say. This is Luna Snow. Now, if you know this character, you know she's got ice powers. She is a K-pop star, is that? Yeah, K-pop star. On top of that, she's got one half of her hair is white, the other half is dark, and then she's got 2 different eye colors. They explain all of that. Her origin story is in here, and it's really cool. I didn't know anything about her origin at all. I'm not sure if it's ever been told, but I thought it was amazing. It was really cool. And if you don't know, the way they're doing these books is they're doing one half is in manga style, and the other half is in traditional comic art style. And it's good. The second story centers around the future Avengers. I think we've seen them in all of these issues, which it's not really a selling point on the comic. The really selling point is the fleshing out of the characters of the Agents of Atlas. And this is a good showing. I had a great time with this. I honestly think this is probably one of the best ones that I had read. So come pick this up, please. It's great. Next is, oh man, we're going to disappoint a lot of people here, because if you haven't subscribed to Marauders, we've only got like 3 on our shelf. We didn't expect so many people to buy it. I don't know how we didn't order more. It's weird. It seems like we should. This book was awesome. It was really, really good. I feel like I wish we had more of it on our shelves. So this centers around, well, Krakoa is still, recruiting, and there's portals everywhere growing out of the flowers, and mutants can walk through. But we come to find out one particular mutant can walk through, and that mutant is Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde, who can walk through literally anything, can't walk through the portal to Krakoa. And there might be a reason for it. She kind of thinks that maybe she's pissed off Krakoa. And, I mean, it's a sentient island. It's possible. So what does she do? Well, she sails to Krakoa. She decides she's going to take her chances. She gets a boat. She sails there. She brings Wolverine some booze and then gets drunk. Steals some of his booze and gets drunk on the island. And it's an amazing scene. Just that one page alone is totally worth reading this book. More importantly, she's been given an offer, and that offer comes from good old Emma Frost. I almost said Emma Snow because Luna Snow, the last book. Good old Emma Frost gives her an offer to sail around the world on this really nice ship and basically be a team of marauders that is going to help, I guess, protect the portals from humans. So some humans in Russia have been blocking portals. Other nations, like mutants, can't get access to the portals. So they're basically the team that's tasked out to clear that out and make sure that mutants can get through. And it's awesome. It's great. It's really, really, really friggin' cool. That's a good premise. I pretty much... I thought that this was just going to be like a trading company pirates type thing. And it turns out it's just sort of a traveling, gotta fight and deal with the politics of the world thing. And that's exactly what I want. But again, the writing is awesome. This is Jerry Duggan. Go figure. Matteo Lally and Federico Blee. The art is absurdly cool. It feels very, very close to the House of X style art. Not quite there because, who is it, Larez? That guy is just phenomenal. But this is a very, very close second. Really, really almost there. And keep in mind, I didn't like the X-Men art. With technical difficulty, but so I think I was talking about the art for X-Men #1 was not really my jam. I was kind of on the fence about it. I wanted to wait and see. The story was good, but the art was something about it just didn't feel as strong, I guess, as House of X. This is, I had a great time with this art. I don't think it's the same artist as X-Men. It wouldn't make sense that it was, but it's they come a close second to Lorez, I think, and that's a good showing. So, anyways, Marauders, go pick this up. It's awesome. If for nothing else, because you get to see Kitty Pryde drunk as a skunk, sort of, and she's very Wolverine-esque, I guess you could say, with her humor when she's drunk. It was awesome. Yeah, come pick this up. Next is Black Adam, Year of the Villain, and, well, I'm going to hide it for a second. What do you think Black Adam is dealing with
Let me see.
in Kahndaq?
Are we going to go with Shazam Who Laughs?
Yes, Shazam Who Laughs is in there. Being a jerk, he's over there trying to convince Adam's people to revolt, saying, like, they got all this oil money, why don't they share it with you? And, I think these are fair questions. Although he wants to provide the people of Kahndaq a universal income. Yeah, I was like, whoa, Shazam got kind of socialist there. Yeah, I was like, wow, that was kind of weird. But, okay, this is Jenkins, Miranda, and Hi-Fi. I had a really good time with this. Black Adam, first of all, I love Black Adam as an anti-hero. I really, really do. He does some awesome stuff. I think what was it, in Doomsday Clock? He, somebody, terrorist was going to cut someone's head off, and he, rips his head off. Yeah. And there's another time where there was, a terrorist in a crowd with, a suicide bomb vest, and Black Adam, rips his arm off, beats it with him, and then throws him into orbit or something. It was really violent and funny at the same time. I was like, good. And Black Adam set them straight. So he's one of my favorite anti-heroes. And, it really goes to show you, his people love him. It's very Doom-esque. Kahndaq is very... am I saying that right? I think I'm saying that right. But it's very sort of Latvia, where, Doom is a villain the whole world over, but in his homeland, he's loved. And that's exactly the same with Black Adam. Although I'm not entirely sure they're both loved, per se, as feared. But feared and seen as a hero at the same time. It's very dictatorish. Anyways, so I had a great, great time with this comic. And if you're a DC fan, you will be totally happy with this. I will say this is one of the more stronger books of the Year of the Villain. It was a wild ride. But you get to see the Shazam Who Laughs, which everyone should be on board for these Who Laughs characters. They're awesome. Again, Billy Batson says some mean things. That's all I'm going to say. He's
I like that.
They all cut to the bone when they start insulting people. This next one is Teenie Howard, Jermaine Peralta, and Miroslav Merva. Her last name is her or his? I don't know. Was Miroslav I don't know. So this person's last name is MRVA. That is a wild last name. That's certainly Eastern European, right?
I think so. MRVA?
I don't know.
It's weird because it's not even showing up on the website.
I don't know. It's a perfectly great cover, so good job.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this is Strike Force issue number 2. The last issue involved Damian Hellstrom and them killing. Blade killed him, and I don't think it turned out that it was him, but they're trying to figure that out. And meanwhile, a bunch of heroes where an infection had taken place, and then there were fairy folk involved. It's a very, very weird storyline, but it's fun. My God, is it fun. So we've got a team, basically a side team of the Avengers that are in Vegas currently investigating this weird mystical plague, I guess you could say. And that's just a fun premise. Is it weird? Yeah, it's certainly weird, but you get to see Blade spearhead a really awesome team. So come pick this up. It was awesome. I had a good time. I will say this. The art, as an art snob, I'm sort of on the fence at times. It goes from that, it's that whole, it's a little too gritty to, it's kind of fun. And it goes back and forth. It's on the fence for me. So if you're an art snob like me, maybe come pick it up and thumb through it before you pick it up. But the story is awesome. I had a good time. I laughed the whole way through. So.
I do love that, though. It's a whole fantasy story and then Blade.
Yeah, and then Blade. And when they go to Vegas, that's the thing, is they go to find Satana, who is running a club in Vegas that is hell-themed. It makes perfect sense for a succubi to be doing that.
Absolutely. And Blade.
and Blade. And the best part about it is the way Blade talks to people, because he's so cool. They're like, dude, you killed Damien Hellstrom. He's like, no, I didn't. I mean, I don't think it was him. Maybe I killed him, but we'll get his sister to bring him back, so who cares?
Completely unfazed.
All right. The next book is Count Crowley, and this is Dark Horse Comics. And now I know Dark Horse has been a little weak lately, oddly enough. There haven't been enough good titles. This, on the other hand, is awesome. I laughed the whole way through this. So this centers around a newscaster that, well, she's not particularly good at her job. She goes to a Renaissance fair to try and expose them of the crime of serving cheap wine.
Oh, God.
The horror.
Yeah, shut
And
it down.
she winds up getting into a fight with the guy who runs the Renaissance Fair and falls and gets covered in mud, and the whole Renaissance Fair is staring at her. She gets fired. And so she's out of work, so she decides to answer her brother's call to work as a horror host. Yes. A very Elvira-esque horror host. She says some mean, sarcastic stuff and somehow gets everyone's attention. And there's maybe some other mystical, magical, actual stuff in play. It's really cool to see. So I want to know more. I'm totally intrigued by the storyline. It was fun. I had a good time. The art was great. I have nothing to complain about as far as the art is concerned. This is David Desmalkian. Wow, what a wild last name. Lucas Kettner, Lauren Affey. This is Count Crowley, the reluctant midnight monster hunter. She is a horror host who hates her job, I guess. Maybe she might like her job, but she hates not being sarcastic. She's very cynical. There you go. Okay, enough time on this book. Issue number 1, come pick this up. Next is Justice League Dark, issue number 16. So we know that the whole magic system has been changing. Everything has been changing about magic. They've started to rely on some chaos magic. Things have gotten really weird in the realm of Justice League Dark. And the last issue, we had Man-Bat get all mutated into some kind of monstrous thing. Hey, what's up, man? So they're dealing with that. But really, this book, we need to sit and discuss this for a second, because Bobo, Detective Chimp, who is also pretty much, I don't think he's the owner, because I'm not sure anyone owns the bar. But what's the magic bar called again?
The Oasis?
No, not the Oasis. Oblivion Bar. So I couldn't remember it. Okay. One of my favorite locations, and for some reason it just blanked. Go figure, that's brain damage. But the Oblivion Bar and Detective Chimp are just the greatest combination. Oh God, it's so good. So they're dealing with Man-Bat being mutated, and meanwhile he's smoking a cigar and complaining about life choices, and winds up in the Oblivion Bar, and he's drinking with the new Dr. Fate acolyte, I guess you could say, acolyte. And then the guy's like, he's like, should you really be doing this right now? And he's like, look, son, okay, look, I've been through this. I've been down some roads. Dark Knight's Metal, you weren't there, man. I was there. No. Yeah, but he doesn't say it like that. But wow, nobody would fault him if he did say it like that, right?
Nope.
So everything about this book is awesome. It just oozes character, and I've not been bored. I don't think there's been one time that I've been bored. I've picked it up occasionally and been like, this storyline's kind of weird, but I haven't been bored. So Justice League Dark, issue number 16. Come pick this up. Next is Flash, issue number 81. Now, I will say, I'm not the biggest Flash fan, and I felt like there were some filler a few issues back, but this one did not disappoint at all. 100% across the board. So last issue, we found out that, well, we knew that the Black Flash, the Black Speedster was in play, and whenever the Black Speedster is in play, Black Death, I think is his name, he's going to kill like a speedster. And in this case, he wasn't killing speedsters, he was killing the other Force users. Sage Force, Strength Force, and what's the other one? Still Force, the Jedi guy who's got it now. So last issue, we saw that Professor Zoom was in play, and Meanwhile, he was actually trying to capture all the forces because he wanted to fight Black Death for whatever reason. So yeah, that's what the last issue is, and I can't spoil it. But what I will say, as somebody who is not the biggest Flash fan, this story was touching. It was amazing. It was an unexpected redemption story for good reason. There is something that happened in Professor Zoom's past that changed everything, and it's from another Flash villain. And my God, it was great. It was. I reached the end of this and I was just shocked, like dumbfounded. It was awesome. So issue number 81 of The Flash. If you are a DC fan, do not skip this issue. 100%. It was awesome. Next is issue number 4, Valkyrie, Jane Foster. And, well, this was actually pretty darn cool. Yeah, so let's unpack everything that's happened. Jane Foster, Valkyrie, she's got the All Weapon, which is a gold bracelet that changes to whatever weapon she wants at the time, and she generally favors, like, flails, I think it is. Like, kind of crazy, like, Morningstar-esque flails. Meanwhile, she's got the job of ferrying souls to the dead. She can see an orb above people's heads that tells, like, how much longer they have to live by the size of it. Which is really cool power. Yeah. It's just written well. This is Ewing and Aaron, Keifu and Alberto, go figure. It's a really, really good story. This particular issue centers around the fact that, well, she did finally counter Bullseye, who's riding around on the old Valkyrie's horse. And so now she's got a talking horse that's hanging out in her apartment, which is kind of bothering her roommate a bit. And then, meanwhile, they've got to deal with, well, let me tell you, of all the things that could happen, she goes out for a night on town, bumps into Doctor Strange, and whoops, wouldn't you know it, like 3 of his biggest villains get resurrected on the spot. Whoops! Well, whoops! Happenstance! So,
Such creative writing.
Is it weird? Yeah, it's weird, but it was really, really fun. And you get to see some cool villains. Caecilius is one of them, so that's worth it in and of itself. Come check this out. It's cool. Jane Foster, Valkyrie. There's nothing disappointing about this book. I have not read one issue that I was bored with. Come check it out. Next is Spider-Man Go Spider. This is Shauna Maguire, Miyazawa, Kampe, and Herring. Really, we're going to cut this up, and it's just going to be me reading names for like the next 20 minutes and mispronouncing everything. That's what it's going to be.
Hang in there, man. You're good, bro.
Anyway, so this is Ghost Spider issue number 3, and this is, well, she's trying to balance her life going between her world and 616. Meanwhile, in 616, she thinks she's encountered her father. It seems like her father, but might be an evil villain of some kind. So, yeah.
Wow. Isn't your dad a cop in the other universe?
Yeah, he is. In 616, apparently he's a professor.
Oh.
Which is
yeah.
weird, but
He's
okay.
a bad guy.
Okay. Hey, he's got like some weird mutton chops too. It's weird. But at any rate, she's sort of balancing her life between, 616 and a different world, and it's cool. It's fun. I've had a really, really good time with it. I want to know more. Actually, I'm not even sure that is supposed to be her dad, the professor. Maybe it's not. He just kind of looks like it.
Hey, speaking of mutton chops, I think you should grow yours out. Let us know in the comments below if you think Steve should grow them out.
Not again. It was weird. Like, I liked it. I had like big mutton chops, but they came in red, and like the rest of my top hair is brown.
Rocket red beard.
This is weird. Like, I don't know. And granted, I used to. Okay, it's weird.
Let us know in the comments.
Anyways, so Ghost Spider. Look, I like Shannon Maguire. I want to know where they're going with this story, but I will say this for right now: it's a little slow. Which is hard. That was my other issue with the last Ghost Spider run, was it was a little slow at times. So I'm hoping it picks up. I really, really am. The art is great. There's nothing to complain about. The story is good. I do want Ghost Spider stories. I love her storylines. I hope it picks up with a little more action in the next issue. That's all I'm going to say. The last book on our list is, my God, Wonder Woman issue number 81. Now, we had complaints about this run too. I think it was like 10 issues ago. It was a while ago. But it really felt like, I don't know, she was trying to find home for homeless animals in Washington, D.C., mythological homeless animals. And they were running into problems, like immigration problems, I guess. Maybe it was a grander statement on immigration. I don't know. It just felt like filler. But I will say it has picked up immensely. There is a lot of good stuff. Recently, Cheetah used a God-Killer sword and killed Aphrodite. So she pretty much destroyed the embodiment of love. And what do you do in a world without love? I don't know. So, yeah, there was that. Meanwhile, she was going to face down Cheetah. All of that happens in this issue. It gets resolved, and it's great. It was awesome. It was fun. They didn't pull any punches. It felt very much Wonder Woman. The writing was great. When there was a time for a fight, it was a fight. Nobody was hugging it out like last issue of Captain Marvel. No, that didn't happen. It was a legit fight. It was awesome. So anyways, Wonder Woman, issue number 81. The art is amazing. I think I've loved everything about this art. The storyline's great. This is Wilson, G. Willow Wilson, Darenick, Scott, Hannah, and Ferraro Jr. Great showing, guys. Had a great time. I hope Wonder Woman continues with this awesome
Here, I thought
trend.
they just threw her into the main
that's
comic.
That's our show for this week. I guess
Because
we
like
gotta
she's
do a
such an
drawing,
awesome
right?
character, but really they just threw him into Bendis' other project.
That also makes sense.
Okay. Sorry, I'm rambling about Naomi because it's such a cool character. But she's such a cool character. That's what I should say. I'm tired, guys. There's not enough caffeine in the world to keep me awake at this point.
All right.
All right, digging deep, digging deep.
Here we go.
This is 116. Wait, there was a 116 last week.
I mean, if someone picked up their stuff, which they did, their name gets thrown back in there.
Oh, okay. So Patrick Dervely, you've won again.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's dig deep, dig deep. Go looking, dig deep. 39.
39. Here. That is going to be Cam Orr.
Hey, Cam, you won a poster.
Yeah.
Last is 291.
Phil Paredes.
Phil Paredes, you won a poster. And I guess that's our show for this week. So come in Saturday, Halloween Comic Fest, come get some free comics, and yeah, that's it.